Hello and welcome to the evening news on African Free Press Television. My name is Leo Oketa and these are the stories we're tracking for you at this hour. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed that the document containing names of proposed ministers that will make his cabinet should be submitted immediately to the Senate, which resumes from its 6-week break today. The unproven list is said to contain names of former River State Governor Mr. Rotimi Chibike Amechi, a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Rotimi Akeredolu, former Army Chief Lieutenant General Abdulrahman Dembazu, and activist lawyer Femi Falana, among others. The national leadership of the People's Democratic Party, through its National Publicity Secretary, Chief Olisa Metuh, at a recent press briefing in Abuja, has indicated that ministers will be inoperative in President Muhammadu Buhari's government. The PDP said the disposition of the president was not to appoint aides, but to run the government as a sole administrator. The PDP further stated this as the reason why President Buhari had been shifting the dates to appoint members of his cabinet, adding that the president had also tagged ministers as noisemakers. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has declared that the fight against insurgency in the northeast has suffered serious setback under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Spokesman of the party, Olisa Metuh, issued the statement yesterday at a press briefing in Abuja. Mr. Metuh was of the view that no significant investment has been made by the All Progressive Congress-led administration in terms of military training and purchase of needed equipment. Reacting to the stringent outcries that followed the past appointments by President Buhari, the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Group, Ohaneze Igbo, has called on the Igbo nation to remain calm and resolute in the face of the lopsided appointments which are calculated to provoke the southeast region. President General Ohaneze Igbo Chief Enwo Gari Igariwe, who spoke at the Ohaneze National Secretariat in Enugu during an appraisal meeting on the Igbo nation, urged Igbos to recreate the zeal, remain steadfast, and galvanize efforts towards the development of the Igbo nation. In the same vein, Chief Olisa Metuh has faulted the act of international embarrassment caused by the absence of the Nigerian delegation as the ineptitude of the handlers of the president on national and international issues. Chief Metuh emphasized how other affected Chad Basin countries were represented and had fruitful discussions with officials of the World Body, while the government of Nigeria, which has the biggest challenge of displaced persons, was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has insisted that there will not be further extension when the October 31st, 2015 deadline for the bank verification number BVN has been over and done with. The CBN emphasized that customers without the BVN-linked accounts may risk being restricted from normal operations of their accounts or free access to their bank accounts balances by the end of next month. The Nigerian Senate today resumed from its annual recess. The 8th Senate passed a motion on a vote of confidence on its leadership after the motion was raised by Senator David Umaru from Niger East. The vote of confidence on Senate President Bukola Saraki was seconded by Senator Ahmed Sani and supported by 84 senators. Senators Umaru and Sani took time to speak on their support of the 8th Senate devoid of any external influence. Senator Jide Omoworare, however, asked that his name be struck out of the motion as he was not duly informed of the motion. Senator Marafa raised a point of order on the motion of vote of confidence earlier passed. A total 15.4 kilograms of crystal meth, worth an estimated street value of 4.6 million rands, was found in an actress's luggage at O.R. Tambo International Airport. The South African Revenue Service issued a statement saying the actress had arrived from Abu Dhabi on Sunday when the narcotics were found by the customs officials. In line with South African law, the details of the passenger will only be released once she has appeared in court. Russian President Vladimir Putin showed up at the United Nations on Monday for the first time in a decade, proposing a coup against U.S. global leadership and seeking to wrest control of a coalition battle ISIS away from America's grip. And he wasn't the only leader of a country on this mission. Speeches by Chinese President Xi Jinping and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani on the 70th anniversary of the creation of the world body also left Obama defending not only his personal foreign policy legacy, which is already under assault at home from Republican presidential candidates, but the entire concept of a world order based on 7 decades of U.S. global leadership. The day of speech-making, which also included an address by Cuban leader Raul Castro and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, underscored the multipolar challenges to U.S. power as slumbering empires seek a resurgence and America faces military challenges from Eastern Europe across the Middle East to Asia. The last 72 hours have seen some of the worst levels of violence in Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic, in over a year, according to Doctors Without Borders, the medical charity. The violence has overwhelmed medical facilities and crippled humanitarian work, the charity says. Emmanuel Lampard, head of operations at MSF in Bangui on Tuesday, said that up to 150 people had been wounded in clashes between communities in the city since Saturday. Lampard's comments came as reports emerged of a massive jailbreak in Bangui. About 500 prisoners, mostly anti-Balaka, that is, anti-marched fighters, are said to have escaped in a move that is likely to destabilize the city further. Bangui has seen a wave of violence since the reported murder of a Muslim taxi driver on Saturday. The decapitated young man was found outside a mosque. Members of a Muslim community then attacked a Christian neighborhood in a set of clashes that left 42 people dead and destroyed entire districts. And that's the news for you this evening on African Free Press Television. For more stories, please do visit our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press and like us on Facebook at African Free Press. From me, Leo Oketa, and the whole team in the studio this evening, it's a good evening to you. Good night.